We're good, okay? Coming back to the open session, resolution of, whereas the, resolution 2022-03, resolution of certification of the closed meeting of January 27th, 2022 pursuant to section 2.3712 of the Code of Virginia as amended, whereas the Board of Commissioners of the Portsmouth Redevelopment and Housing Authority has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to affirmative recorded votes in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas section 2.23712 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by this Board of Commissioners that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with the Virginia law. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Commissioners hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, one, only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements of Virginia law, and two, only such business matters were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the Board of Commissioners in the closed meeting. Elise, I need affirmation. Need a motion first. I'm sorry. Need a motion.
Motion on all three.
Commissioner Prince, thank you. Second, Ms. Goss, thank you. You know, I do that every single time. I get so excited here about getting to a vote. All right.
Commissioner Cox? Yes. Commissioner Pickens?
Yes.
Commissioner Prince?
Yes.
Commissioner Wicks?
Yes.
Vice Chair Jiggets?
Yes.
Chair Maloney?
Yes, thank you very much. And I'm out of order, and I apologize for in the agenda here. Public speakers, PRHA, public speakers at PRHA are allowed up to 5 minutes to speak. And I want to open up the meeting if there's any public speakers. None said? Okay, let's go around the table, right? Commissioner Cost? Nothing. Thought you had something to bring up about, no? Okay, all right. John?
Yeah, just postponed a meeting that was extremely educational and yes, Mr. Blaine, fun event. A lot of the issues, unfortunately or fortunately, that I had brought up a couple meetings ago were kind of solidified in this particular meeting. They had a session and a half in regards to hot topics as far as commissioners getting caught up into politics and things like that. But a lot of it was just what we can do to better our relationship with the public and solidify our relationship with the city, but not get caught in between the two. Some of the things they brought up were, if you've got a relative or friend that has a voucher, we're not speaking for that individual with, our facility. Questions that I had, that I came out with, do we have a cash in hand policy for paying rent for those that don't have checks, direct deposit, that type of thing? For our attorney, what is the city charter in regards to, in no offense, but city employees that are working as a board member on this commission because others don't allow that? And then is there a policy in regards to lawsuits that we are pursuing and or pursued upon us from a resident city, otherwise that directly is a ticket for the board to know. So those were the three big ones that came out for me throughout that meeting. But otherwise, it mainly just reaffirmed what we're doing here as board members, getting along with each other, more so disagreeing with each other appropriately and figuring out, Ms. Jiggins, valid points, counterpoints, how we can sit in a board meeting and do it without sounding like our city council. I'm sorry.
Whoa.
And that was brought up. We
Yes.
were on CNN.
Yes.
You're not my daddy.
Yes.
So,
You just had to be laughing in the talk.
no, I was actually being respectful of that. You know, we've had some major disagreements here, but how can we disagree and make this an effective board that, because it's not about us, it's about us with the community. So, that's basically what it's about. I'm looking forward, I hope, to May, which I think will bring about, like we were talking about the container communities and different different types of housing, because I think that's what May is more about. But this one was strictly about how the board can function in a appropriate manner, within the law, within some basic moral fiber, and help the community. And I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Where did you get this takeaway from?
The San Diego conference, that was in January.
Oh,
San
okay.
Diego Housing Conference. in
Okay.
January. All right, thank you, Sean. These items that are brought up like this, make sure at the next board meeting, you have answers for us, as far as unfinished business. Okay. Yes. Commissioner Wicks?
I'm just pleased to be a part of a winning team, and I'm impressed. I've learned a lot thus far, and hope we continue on the road that we're going.
Thanks, man. Thank you very much. Commissioner Pickens?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yep. Vice Chair?
Yes, always after the meeting, through YouTube, I'm able to tune in to city council meeting. A couple of things that were discussed with Ms. Lane, I wanted to know if you had a chance to, sit down with the city manager on this. This has to do with a possible memorandum of agreement between PRHA and the council concerning the broadband authority that is to be chaired by Lisa Lucas Burke and Councilman Christopher Wood as vice chair of the broadband. Have you entertained any discussion yet? And so she hasn't even approached you yet. Okay, well, you probably want to put that in your, as they would say, in your pipe and smoke it, or keep it in front of you, because it's become quite a emotional issue, because there were some council members who only wanted to fund 3.5 million. Other council members, Council Paul Gallagher wanted the 5 million, and then one motion didn't carry, and they brought it back, so it carried for the 5 million, because the 5 million would give them being forced voting authority on this broadband. But I did hear the mention about PRHA and installing internet on these properties. And using these sites for the initiative for the internet to take off. So that's something you want to keep in front of you. What is the status of approach that we use now for internet at our various properties?
Commissioner Davis, if I can interject, I'm sorry, because this actually did come up in our meeting. A lot of people are just holding off on a lot of that, to see if the Build Back Better, because all of that is involved directly in that to come from the government. So I'm just,
Well, I appreciate that.
I don't know if there was some trepidation on the board because that might be coming down or not, but that was a discussion there. And a lot of the other boards at the meeting, a lot of the boards are,
in San Antonio.
San Diego.
In San Diego.
A lot of boards are holding
Well,
on
I
even with that
mentioned it
question.
because it specifically came up for PRHA being mentioned, by the city manager. And she mentioned it a couple of times. So I feel like something that we need to get in front of, Mr. Brown. I had a couple other things that I wanted to make mention. Is it too early to get a status update on the senior home repair program?
If you like the update now.
Sure.
I'll just be brief.
So let me have one more thing after that.
Okay, there was $150,000 that was allocated from the city's CDBG grant program. We have put together the shell of the program. We have the application in place. On Monday, we mailed out applications to 16 people who had noted interest. And so we sent applications and program guidelines out and just updated that on our boards, on our website. So we will be receiving applications with a deadline of February 7th of the people who've already expressed interest. So we're ready to go.
So it's 60, we have 60 families, or 60.
60 families.
60 people expressing
Who has
interest.
been on our notification list and asked to be notified immediately as soon as we had the program captured.
What about the people who went online and submitted their application?
Those as well.
They
We have,
still have to redo an application on the city.
no, they don't have to redo an application. We just posted the application and it's just the one application. So anyone who submits that application, that's the only application that they need to do.
And that would be decided solely by, you, Mr. Brand, or you put together a committee, how do you know that's the role now?
I just, in our discussion, what Mr. Bland thought would be kind of the most fair, since we know that we'll have so many more applications than available funding, is to do a lottery. So of all the applications that we receive by February 7th, which of course is our deadline, we'll do a lottery, we'll do a public lottery, and be able to select applications that way.
There will be, that you will send out contractors and members of your staff to do the estimate of what the repairs will be. How would that work?
Well, let me just kind of a quick summary. We're receiving applications to February 7th.
Mhm.
On shortly after February 7th, we'll take all the applications that we receive and do a lottery. Based on how the lottery turns out, we'll just go one by one, looking at the applications and meeting with the families in order, and determining their needs, whatever the needs of the home are, and then working with the contractor to take care of those needs.
So I guess I'm trying to figure out, at what point will we be doing an on-site visit? Once the lottery is.
After the lottery. After the lottery, based on what the results are, we will do one-on-ones with the families and go on site and assess, whatever the repairs need to be.
Okay, thank you.
You know, I just want to mention, Philip, that based on the amount of money BOC said they can get, and so, talk about
Yeah,
the number, we figure maybe what.
I make the statement that we have one more interest than we do available funds, with $150,000 total. The program limits are $15,000 per home or $15,000 per project. So at very max, we can only do 10, but because there's administrative costs, we expect that we'll be able to do 7 to 10. So 60 plus people who are interested, we think we can only do with that money about 7 to 10 projects, because the max is $15,000.
We
did put in-
Oh, go ahead.
We did put in a request with the city for additional funds.
Right.
We got more applicants.
Okay, because I'm trying to understand about the additional operational costs on housing.
Well, with the operational, it's not just the housing authority. We've got the contractor costs, we've got legal costs, we've got, even title searches and things that have to be done.
So we would not be able to use in-house staff, is what you're saying?
Not for all of that, no.
Okay, I have two more things on my list.
We said it one.
I looked at, I was responding.
Did I hear one?
You heard that, you right, but when I looked down, I said, wait a minute. Okay, two more things. At the city council meeting the other night, which I think was a good idea, they had a presentation by this company, I think they're out of the Midwest, called Shot Spire. Anyone familiar with that company? That's where they can put in sensors on top of the car buildings. So when shots are heard, it's not just the responsibility from the citizen who's calling 911 to say, I hear shots, can you send somebody out? Because there's a lot of lag time. But with this particular application, if the city decides to go with it, they would be able to put these shot fire sensors in places in the city of Portsmouth, and obviously with our housing locations, I hope that would be something, Mr. Bland, that we would advocate for.
We are already working with the police chief in reference to that.
Like, okay, because I was gonna say, the chief Prince, in relation to you, Commissioner Prince? He's a dad. Don't mess up that.
I just have, I had.
So that's your dad. But tell your dad to get on your call. But anyway, personally, I think it's a great idea. it does not take away for citizens still responding to 911. But with this particular census, my understanding is as soon as the shots are fired, the census will trigger an alert. And so the police will be able to go out within minutes of going to the location where the shots are coming from. And I'm glad to know, Mr. Lane, that, you know, you're looking into that, because I think that is something that will be vital for our housing authority. The only thing I didn't hear, Mr. Lane, maybe you know the answer to this.
Now, is this the second
This
phase?
is
No,
one point five.
Yeah, that's all I'm questioning. I just wanted to know, did you know where the other cities were where they have it in place?
Newport News has it.
Oh, look what New Jersey. But then be tempted to, okay. Okay. What do you think about it, Mr. Lane?
So it's excellent. It just, it's the cost factor, but the city feels that we're
When
going
we're
to.
down 50 or 500 police officers on some astronomical number.
I mean, the data is showing that it's a positive. It's positive. That's what I'm asking.
My input would be, I think it would be well worth the money. And the only other thing, this is the last one, there was an article.
Make sure you put that down to the
Land.
In the paper today, the article talked about the results of a quality of life survey in the region. And they gave city by city breakdown. Did you see that? And, I did not like the way the city of Folsom came out, but my question to the board members, as well as those still attending from staff, did any of you get this survey that talks about evaluating the quality of life in Folsom?
Surveys are only as good as the people that get them, just like with Nelson and
Yeah, I
Indiana.
know, but I'm.
Nelson, they never contacted me when they survey, so it depends on who they are surveying and what.
It would be interesting to know that because it was
But
very,
15.9% was a negative.
it was very negative for Folsom, very negative. And I'm like, isn't that the survey? So that's the only other thing that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to see if any of us.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Say what? What you say?
He's laughing at me. I said, I'm sorry, I just said one of those moves there.
Oh, it's well, I'll take it. But anyway, so that's it. That was my last question.
Just to wrap it up, and again, thank you very much for the great beginning of 2022. I'm going to bring up two myself here in a minute, but I would challenge the commissioners at the next meeting when we go through, if y'all could just kind of verbalize what you think your personal or professional goals are for 2022 for PRHA. Just kind of get your thoughts. You know, Alyssa and the team is responsible for the action plan every year. So just kind of put out there and think outside the box, all right? That, you know, maybe one be a short-term goal and one be a long-term goal that you as a commissioner would like to see, whether it's a professional certification or to build 200 more units next year. Let's get the creative juices kind of thinking and see where we're going. I want to talk about two things because they are being recorded, so I want to make sure that, you know, I'm pretty adamant about it. I'm very concerned about that we still haven't had a meeting scheduled with the city council. We've been asking now for quite a long time to sit down with them. I appreciate that the vice chair brought up about the shop spotter because it just brings something up that's been gnawed at me, being a financial person. We lost, we have, I don't think we've ever said no to the city on anything that we want to do that the city's asked us to do. We've had folks come here to this meeting and want us to, and deed over, the first thing I got involved with, we had to deed over the Holiday Inn property that used to belong, the garage used to belong to PRHA. And we were given this briefing that they had great things going on, that property, to give it to the city so they could develop it. We had an agreement from the city that they would reimburse us for the hundreds of thousands of costs that this organization made to raise that whole Holiday Inn property and to maintain the mortgage. And we were promised by leadership that we would be reimbursed. We've never been reimbursed. The second thing I got involved in was the cameras, right? I sat in at least 2 or 3 meetings where the city manager said, you take care of putting in cameras, you pay for the cameras, and we'll reimburse you for at least 50% of the cost. We received no money back from those cameras, all right? The next one with this shot spotter, and I'm gonna call it, and I'm gonna call them out. We've been briefed on it. Mr. Blaine's been briefed on it a couple times. I've been briefed on it a couple times about what a great thing it's going to do as I started raising the cane about public housing. And they said, hey, this will help. And we want to bring it out to the whole city. And we want you, PRHA, to pay for it all. For all of them. All right? And there's a point where I put my foot down and I said, hey, we have done everything you've asked us to do to protect our citizens and to be stewards of the money that we have for economic development housing. So I believe that spot shot is going to be a great thing for the city. We don't have that kind of money to keep on funding things that we keep on being told. So I'm just making it publicly known. I support it and going to pay for as much as we need to support our housing.
So is the city saying or assuming that our properties are the only ones where there's shots?
No, sir. No, sir.
Then why would we even reach out and pay for it?
We're not. Right? We're not. You know, if we could have a lot of logical discussion about it, but all we've been presented with, all at least what I've been briefed, is here's the bill for the entire city, right? We'd like y'all to pay it because it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, right? And it is. It's a good thing.
Not what they understand.
Okay?
Yeah, it's great, but it's not going to solve the crime problem.
So I'm just making it, we're taped, right? We're up to about 1.5 million now in security costs and things, you know, we're doing the best we can. Those folks, Mr. Blaine was talking about, they're out there from, about 8 o'clock in the evening till, 5 o'clock in the evening till about midnight. They're out there and I see them there. So we're doing what we can do to help ourselves. At some point, we're going to be held accountable as commissioners of why aren't we spending our money on housing, right? And it just astounds me, right, that when I'm seeing, whatever you want to call it, RPP, APP, RP, all this money coming to the city, all right, but we can't seem to get back. And as I opened up the meeting, we gave back to the city $142,000, and we can't seem to get a nickel of it back. We get pennies. $150,000 pennies in the millions that they've got for repairs for seniors in this town. And we're the ones who are going to be the bad guy, saying only 7 of y'all can get it out of 60. Right? And you know when you're going to hear it. How come that person got it? And my next door neighbor got it and I didn't. You're going to get that call. So enough said. I'm on my soapbox and I apologize. But I really care about what this staff is doing, and they're busting their tail to get it done. And I want to make sure we're doing everything we can to help our own folks in their housing.
I have one more brief before we.
Yes, sir, please, Councilman, yes, sir.
COVID has closed everything down for a long time. When I first joined the board, the city actually did the whole commissioners gathering at the Children's Museum. And I thought that was one of the best things that I've attended because we all got to see each other, know each other, meet some family members, jelly like obviously this year, again, it didn't happen, but I don't know if it's in there somewhere in the summertime, hopefully, we'll get a good spot with COVID, but even if PRHA can do something, for the board and the staff to get together, and even if it's a potluck somewhere, but just, you know, have a commiseration of each other and, get back to some sort of normalcy, because it was a wonderful night. And, it's a shame that we are where we're at now, but I'm hoping, you know, somewhere in the summertime, maybe we can organize something.
Very good. All right. Any other items?
Yes, I have one more thing.
We got
Well, you know, and I appreciate that when it's my time to speak, come on, y'all, let's be fair, let me say yes. In terms of the city, of course, my city council and PRHA and all the other legislative boards, we're in this together. And let's not lose sight of it. We are in this together. And what we do together will lift the quality of life for all of our citizens. And I stand by that. because I know how Portsmouth citizens can benefit from those of the lesser incomes on up. And I just want to see this city, this is a historical city. Portsmouth is a historical city. And we deserve so much more respect than we are getting. But that has to cease. But we cannot afford to talk negative about our city of Portsmouth. I grew up in the city. I was educated in the city. I'm from 5 generations of being educated in this city and going on to college. And yes, full disclosure, my career was with the city of Norfolk as the first black, not even first black, as the first female manager hired solely to do economic development. And I never missed a chance to let my Norfolk co-workers in the Department of Development know that I was not going to allow them to say any disparaging remarks about the city of Portsmouth. Because this city raised me, educated me. This is where my church was and still is, and I love this city, and I have always loved this city. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Adjourned. Thank you. You come out of your shell. Oh.